So why is that so important? The need to understanding who we are, what we're capable of first as a starting point before we do all those other things.
So one thing is, so the way I learn, which is different from a lot of the way other people learn, I'll talk to people about this. So I do it while I'm watching the YouTube video the first time.
I can't do that.
So I'm watching the YouTube video, I'm working on the thing, and I like, that guy takes this thing apart, I'm taking the thing apart while he's taking it. I'll push pause, I'll do what he did. And then I push play, he's doing it, I'll do it again. Now that might drive some people nuts because they're like, you haven't researched it, you haven't done any of this. True. All that is true. And have I been caught in the middle of that? Absolutely. You get to the middle of it, you're like, well, that person has a tool that I don't have. So now I got to figure out how to adjust and compensate. Okay. I think there's benefit in that whole process because I'm learning in the moment how to adjust and compensate and all those things. Now, is that perfect in every circumstance? No, but it's the way I learn, and it fits my personality. Now, what has had to happen over the years, I can't do that in a large church. I can't just jump in the middle of it and then go, oh, we weren't equipped to do that. So I've had to take the natural way I think about it and couple it with some unnatural ways that I think about things. And maybe the way you think about things more, where you're more planned out.
I am.
You're more, we're going to do the research first. We're going to make sure this works, make sure this works. So that was fine when it was just me and one thing. But now when you're responsible for a whole bunch of things, I've got to pull myself away from that a little bit, lean into the other side of it, where we have to there's due diligence that has to take place here. There's research that has to take place. We have to know that this is that we're capable, counting the cost before it happens, right?
Yes.
So I've had to lean into that other area, but I know that about myself. Having enough intelligence about the way your own brain works and about the way your own personality is. So I didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I didn't say, well, the way you've been doing it is wrong. I just said the way I've been doing it has got me the knowledge that I have, but in order to lead more people, I do have to lean into another way to do things. So being flexible, realizing that I read a book one time that was called Personality Isn't Permanent. That, the more we learn, the more we lean into who we are, and the more we allow God to adjust that, and the more we apply scripture to our life and learn to adapt to our circumstances, our personality just does ebb and flow. So now I'm comfortable playing the YouTube video once and doing it, but I'm also comfortable watching the YouTube video 10 times. I don't think one's better than the other because there's circumstances in the church where I have to be researched. I have to have a plan for 5 years. I have to be farther out than just, oh, I didn't watch that part of the video yet.
Yeah.
So being okay with both sides of it.
Well, I think that's pretty unique because you mentioned you were an Enneagram 8 and I am an Enneagram 5. So I am the person that will research till I'm dead and never really make a move on something. Yeah. And I've had to, in this capacity, learn to just say, okay, this is the thing to do in this moment. Let's just go get it done. But that took a lot of prying and pressure. And I'll say you do a pretty good job of that, is giving us the room and the grace to be able to make those mistakes.
Yeah.
But why do you think some people, though, understand where their gaps are or where their issues are, but they decide to stay there? They stick. You mentioned personality isn't permanent. Why do some people stick with their personality and kind of hold it almost as like a mantle?
Yeah, it's just comfortable. I mean, it's just what we're used to. It's what we've fostered. It's what we've grown up with. It takes work. It takes legitimate work. So Enneagram 5 may research something and never feel like you've gotten to the end of it, which is probably true. Nobody's researched anything to the end of it. So you may feel like, well, I don't know enough to pull this off. Well, that could incapacitate you as far as accomplishing in life and reaching goals and all those things. So being aware that it's not you bring something to the table that an 8 is not going to bring to the table. So you bring preparedness. You bring, I've thoroughly looked through this. I've gathered the information. The danger of that, because there's good sides and bad sides to every personality. So the danger of the 5 is, well, may never pull the trigger, may never go ahead with it. The danger of the 8 is we pull the trigger. We don't even know where we're at. Like, we don't even know what's it going to cost. I don't know. We'll just figure it out when we go.
Yeah.
So what I found is when you put both of those people in the same room, great things happen. When God designed us with all these personalities that are beneficial, and when you make sure all the personalities are in the same room, we need the person that's going to ask the questions to make sure. We need the detailed person. We need the follow-through person. We need the research person. We need all those things. And then we do need the person that's going to say, okay, we got enough information. Let's do it. When you're a leader, the key is to be able to manage all those people, to be able to bring all those people in the room with no ego, not feeling insecure, being able to say, you know what, kiddo, I need you to do what you do great. But the other thing is I need you to lean into what I do great. And so once we understand ourselves, then we can understand the deficiency I have is where you're great. It's you make up for my deficiency and I make up for your deficiency. So the body of Christ works like that, especially in a church and in leadership, even outside the church. Like, people can get tunnel vision about, well, this is the right personality for this.
Yeah.
And really, okay, is an 8 the person that typically can stand up in front and go, I'm gonna charge the hill, let's get it done? Yes. But where the 8 benefits is having all the other personalities around them going, hey, we did all the research, we asked all the questions, we checked all the checks, and we're sure this is the right way to go. Okay, now I've got a ton of confidence that this is what we should be doing. And I can. So that's something you grow into as a leader, being able to trust the people around you, even though they think differently, even though they're polar opposites of the way you would approach the issue. But all of us together working as a team to make sure it happens right.
I love that. And it's funny you say that, the gathering of information. When I was a catcher, I used to go literally scout other teams, like the team we were going to play. And I would literally write a report on each batter, how far they stood in the box, how did they adjust to a certain pitch. And then when it was time for us to play them, I would say to my pitcher, okay, this batter, this is what we're trying to do. And my wife used to think I was crazy. And I'm like, that's just how my brain, I need to be able to organize how this is, because if I'm going into a battle, I want to know what's the viscosity of the mud over in this corner? Where do we have like gaps in our ability to attack here? Yeah, where can they flank us? Like, I want to know a total picture of what we're going to get into, because if not, in the moment, I'm going to be more stressed out. I won't be able to adjust because I don't have all the information gathered. So kudos to you to be able to just say, let's just charge the hill and see what.
No, but it's if I don't have people like you on the team, if we're not working together, then I get in a whole bunch of trouble. And the issue is when it's just me, I may be able to navigate the trouble. When the organization gets larger, you can't afford to do that. So if it's just me and there's a tool I don't have, I can probably go to the store and buy the tool. It just makes the project a little longer. When you're leading a larger organization, all of a sudden you start to lose credibility. Like, oh, he jumped into it and didn't know what was going on. He didn't know how it was going to impact everybody. They weren't making sure that they knew the cost of what it was going to take. So these are all credibility killers that demand that there's multiple personalities at the table to make sure the organization runs well. And I think we've all been a part of things where you've had people incapacitated to move, and that's a bad thing. And we've also all been part of things where people were just hard charging and just run over people and didn't ask, and it turned out bad the opposite way. So knowing that about yourself, intimately knowing what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, allow you to build a team that complement your strengths, but also fill in all the gaps of, I'm not a detail person. I'm not a person who's going to think through all the minutia of every aspect of whatever's going to happen. I'm just not wired that way. And so it is extremely important for me to gather those type of people around me, because their gift set is something that I'm not great at, and to appreciate that and lean into it.
That takes a certain level of humility and authenticity to be able to say that.